The wallets of 1,000 Bitcoins or higher is they're reducing, meaning whales are selling. Well, it doesn't mean whales are selling. It could be wallet consolidation. It could be other things. So then is it exchange balances? You know, because they're the biggest whales out there, which is Binance. You know, they'll look on, they hold the most wallets of over 1,000 Bitcoins. Are they, is it supply shock? Is it actually everyone's buying coins and taking it off Binance into cold storage because they're stacking hard? That's bullish. It's not bearish that whales are.
Right.
So you need to look at all these dimensions. Once you have the good data and you look at all the different possibilities and eliminate them, then you can ascertain what is happening in the network with much higher probability than just, you know, it's kind of a guess with past correlations. Like right now, active addresses dropping through the floor, which is correlated to price, right? When you see this thing dropping to the floor, it's been fuel for a lot of bearish people because it's like, you know, there's no activity. That means that the network's not growing. Actually, what's actually happened is we've had 2 rounds of miners shut down. And so the blocks are being processed at 1/3 of the rate. So obviously the activity in the addresses has to go to 1/3 of the rate because they can't process at the same speed. So when you have to take that into account. So there's all these sort of things you need to know about the network when you're going to do analysis. This thing's going to, it's going to 100 trillion, if not more. I imagine the economy is going to get a lot bigger, just because productivity is improving. This is probably a 10x above what banks, the size of the scale of banks, you know. So yeah, I mean, we're so used to, was it 12 years of being the little guys, but now we're in this zone of breaking out of being little to becoming mainstream. And, you know, you can tell that because the chairman of central banks are now, you know, fudding Bitcoin. Because it's roughly 160 million people have exposure to Bitcoin today, but that doubles every year. You know, so it's not actually about the size we are in, but it's the growth rate. And the current network growth rate is the fastest growth rate of any technology we've ever seen in the history of mankind, which means that we'll be at saturation within a decade.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering how long will it take for central bank digital currencies to actually roll out and be ready? Because they've got a race on their hands. If they can't get this done in 5 years, the crypto is de facto, Bitcoin is de facto. It's too late. Like a lot of progress happens when the younger generation get to rewrite the rules according to the changing times. And like what's interesting now is the new power that's rising as you know, the millennial generation, but you know, the cream of the crop are making billions in crypto right now.
Yeah, and
they have very fine understanding of how monetary markets work. So I see a huge power change, you know, right now. It's like if you ever read the book The Fourth Turning, you know, it really describes every 4 generations they go through archetypal kind of changes, and every fourth turning. Last one was the Great Depression going into World War II, and we had a major shift of regime and infrastructure change. You know, all the strong institutions that were built in present day was built then with high integrity, and now they've been dismantled. And we're actually in that fourth turning, in the 4th generation of that happening now. And it's the millennial generation that are now very capitalized with the ones that are capitalized, like SPF. They're very, you know, it's new values. It's going to be a really interesting time in the next 10 years. I think it's ridiculous amounts of change we're going to have. And I think it's going to be positive.